am planting just gonna link him down. Roosters. Today we are going to be planting carrots in a shopping bag. You can get these shopping bags from a lot of different stores. I picked mine up from Walmart. I think my Walmart has them for 98 cents. Now there's two different kinds at my Walmart. This kind is soft. It almost feels slightly cottony. The other kind is very slick and seems to have a bit of a protectant on it. I wouldn't get that kind. I went ahead and went with this kind. This kind does not hold water. If you put water in, the water will start to drain out of the side seams, and I wanted something that would allow it to drain. I'm also going to cut some drainage holes in the bottom just to make sure I've got some good drainage, but I wanted the soil to kind of be able to breathe, so that's why I went with this bag. I am planting purple cosmic carrots from Baker Creek Heirloom Seed Company. If you have never shopped there, I will go ahead and link them below in the description box. I will also link a couple of other places that I really like to get good seeds. I don't get anything from you using any of those links. I'll just link them there for your convenience. Alright, so first I'm going to clip the price tag off of my bag. I probably should have done that before I came outside, right? And then I'm going to cut some holes in the bottom. So I am just going to, there's a center fold. I'm going to fold like a fourth of the bag here, like so. And then I'm just going to cut 3 little spots along here. Don't want to make them too big because I don't want my soil to fall out. I just want the water to drain. So I'm going to go ahead and fold about a quarter way in on the other side. Please forgive my noisy roosters. They really like to chit-chat in the morning. And all the rest of the day too. Alright, got my holes in the bottom. So for soil, I'm just using a bag that I already had on hand. Right here. It is Performance Organic All-Purpose Container Mix for flowers and vegetables. But you can use whatever you can find. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get my bag filled. Get my gloves on. If you don't have gardening gloves, that's totally okay. Half the time I forget mine and I don't use any. But I was on top of things this morning and I remembered to grab some. Alright, the bag is going to want to move around a little bit, especially if it is windy out at all. These are very lightweight bags, so I like to just kind of get a couple handfuls in fairly quickly before it blows over again. Now, how deep you want to do this is totally up to you. If you have a smaller carrot variety, like a Parisian carrot that's fairly short and stout, you can just fill the bag part way up and then fold that over. I did that for my kale this fall. I will actually show you here in a minute how that looks. But if you have deeper carrots, I mean, you could fill it all the way up. It's totally up to you. Whatever kind of carrots you have. There are so many varieties of carrots. Making a mess here. I have a tendency to make a mess though, so that's alright. This is why I do this outside and not inside. And I know people like to fuss about containers and about soil, and there is definitely like good, better, best when it comes to containers and soil. And a lot of gardening purists would tell you that there are some downright terrible things to do. And there's like stuff you want to avoid. But in my opinion, do what you got to do to grow something. I mean, as you go along and you do things, you're going to get better and better. And you're going to learn more and more. And, you know, maybe this is more affordable for you. Maybe what you can afford is a little $1 bag from Walmart and a little bag of soil and 1 packet of seeds, and that's where you're starting. And I think that that is awesome. I don't think that it has to be perfect or the absolute ideal. I know some people would say that that's how it really does have to be, but that's just not true. I think that as long as you are doing the best that you can in your situation and you're trying to learn and provide healthy food for yourself, I think that that's the way to go. I don't think that it has to be, you know, in this perfect raised bed with the perfect soil, with the compost that you made yourself, although that is awesome. That is so not where I'm at with my gardening life right now. And if you're not there either, well then, hey, we are buddies and we are gonna figure this out together. Okay, I've got all of my soil in there. I left myself a little bit of room because I might add a little bit of straw as the carrots come up. I'm not sure yet, I haven't decided, but they'll still get plenty of sun this way. So I'm gonna call that good. Okay, so real quick, these are the other 2 bags that I've done. These have kale in them, and I just didn't need as much room. This may be a little bit overkill, but it's okay. I have the soil, it's fine. Want to give them plenty of space. They're not going to get that long, but that's totally fine. But you can see, you can easily fold it down if you just don't need that much room, and then you're not using quite as much soil. So I am going to carefully pre-wet this. I would use my little watering can, but I have kids and it's disappeared. So the reason I'm pre-moistening the soil here is because typically the soil that comes out of your bag is pretty dry, kind of fluffy and dry. And if you give it a good drink first and you let it soak up that water for a few minutes, then it'll hold moisture much better. It's just better to plant in. You don't have to do this step. I don't always. But when I have a minute, I try to remember to give it a decent soak. Now that it's soaked for a bit, we are ready to plant our seeds. There are a lot of different ways to do carrots. The seeds are pretty small, and so my favorite method is to just sprinkle them all in there, and I'm actually just going to use up what's left in this pack. So I just like to sprinkle them in, and then you can thin them when they get taller. I'm just going to sprinkle, sprinkle. I am totally fine with thinning them. This pack is not old, and seeds last past, you know, their first year. They can last for several years. I've planted some that are like 6 years old and I've still gotten them to grow. But obviously fresher seeds have a better chance of growing and coming up. So I'm just going to kind of like scrape around, pat them in here just a little bit. Don't want to overdo it. Just get them in. And then I'm going to take another handful or so of soil and just sprinkle that on top so that they're covered, but not too heavily. There we go. All right, they're planted. That's it. And I forgot my gloves. Oops. That's what soap's for. All right, so I'm going to leave these. I'm going to check on them and make sure that they are staying moist. So I just have this outside in a fenced-in little garden area that I've got to keep my chickens and my cats and honestly my children out of it. But if you don't have that space, this is awesome for like a concrete patio, or if you have a little balcony, maybe if you live in an apartment. As long as you get sun on that balcony, you can grow something in one of these bags. I wouldn't put it on a wooden surface because the water will soak out the bottom and it could ruin the wood, but if you had like a plastic tray you could put it in, maybe you could still put it on a wooden balcony. So this is really awesome for a lot of different things. I'm putting carrots in mine. It's autumn, coming into autumn, and I'm growing some colder weather crops, so I've got carrots and kale in my bags, but you could easily do other things. These are deep enough that you could get some space for some roots. So you could do a determinate tomato plant probably, and determinate might get a little crazy. You could do peppers, you could do flowers. You have a lot of options, and this is a very inexpensive container to do this in. And then the soil is going to cost, well, it just depends on what you find. There are some really inexpensive soils that probably are not what are considered better quality. You can get some really expensive soils. I'm definitely in the camp of get what you can find and what you can afford. As long as you are working towards growing things, I think that that is commendable, and it doesn't have to be perfect. So I hope you enjoy this. If you have any questions, please comment below.